Mahmoud Khalil, a Columbia University graduate, faces deportation. This news has left many in disbelief, as Khalil has been a part of the community for years. He's a legal permanent resident, someone who has followed the rules and built a life in the United States, but an immigration judge ruled against him, citing reasons that have sparked heated debates. This decision sends shockwaves through immigrant communities and beyond, raising concerns about fairness and justice in the system. Khalil's future hangs in the balance as he faces the possibility of being separated from everything he knows. Khalil is known for his pro-Palestinian activism, which has made him a prominent figure in advocacy circles. He participated in protests at Columbia, standing up for causes he deeply believes in. And now his activism is being used against him, with claims that it poses a threat to national security. This case raises serious questions about free speech in America and the boundaries of lawful dissent. The deportation order is a blow to Khalil's life in the U.S., a country he has called home for years. He built a life here, established roots, and contributed to society in meaningful ways, earning the respect of many. Now, he faces the prospect of being uprooted and sent to a country he barely knows, leaving behind his dreams and aspirations. This case is about more than just one man. It's a reflection of the struggles faced by many immigrants in America today. It's about the shrinking space for dissent in America, where activism can sometimes come at a heavy price. It's about the government's power to silence voices it disagrees with, and the implications this has for democracy and freedom. Secretary of State Marco Rubio played a key role in this case, bringing it to national attention with his controversial stance. He invoked an obscure law, one that is rarely used and largely unknown to the public. This law allows deportation if someone's presence is deemed harmful to U.S. foreign policy interests, a vague and subjective criterion. Rubio claims Khalil's activism enables anti-Semitism, a serious accusation that has sparked widespread debate. He argues that this activism undermines U.S.-Israel relations, a cornerstone of American foreign policy in the region. This argument is deeply troubling as it raises questions about the limits of free speech and political expression. It equates criticism of Israel with anti-Semitism, a conflation that many activists and scholars strongly oppose. And honestly, that's a dangerous conflation, one that could stifle legitimate discourse and activism. It silences legitimate criticism of Israeli policies, creating a chilling effect on those who dare to speak out.
Rubio's use of this obscure law sets a chilling precedent, one that could have far-reaching implications for activists nationwide. It gives the government broad power to target activists, potentially labeling dissent as a threat to national interests. Any activism that criticizes a U.S. ally could be deemed harmful to foreign policy, a dangerous precedent for democracy.
This case raises serious concerns about the balance between national security and individual freedoms. It highlights the potential weaponization of law to suppress dissenting voices. Is the U.S. government using its power to silence those who challenge its policies or its allies? This case suggests the answer may be yes, leaving us to question the future of free expression in America. Judge Jami'i Comans sided with the government. She affirmed the Secretary of State's power to deport non-citizens. She accepted Rubio's letter as evidence. This letter claims Khalil's presence enables anti-Semitism.
Judge Comans' decision is highly questionable. She accepted a letter from a politician as sufficient evidence. This letter makes broad claims without concrete proof.
The judge's decision raises concerns about due process. Was Khalil given a fair hearing? Was the evidence against him properly scrutinized? The answer in this case seems to be no.
This ruling sends a dangerous message. It suggests that the government can deport someone based on flimsy evidence. It undermines the rights of immigrants and activists alike.
Khalil's lawyers are not giving up. They plan to appeal the ruling, arguing that Khalil is being targeted for his political speech.
They say this violates his First Amendment rights. The First Amendment protects freedom of speech, including the right to criticize governments.
Khalil's lawyers argue that his activism is protected speech. This case raises some really fundamental questions about the limits of free speech. Can the government deport someone for expressing their political views?
This case will have far-reaching implications. The outcome of this appeal is uncertain, but one thing is clear: this case is a major test for free speech in America.
This case is part of a disturbing trend, one that raises serious questions about the balance between national security and individual rights. The US government is increasingly cracking down on pro-Palestinian activism, targeting individuals and groups who dare to speak out. And it's not just in isolated pockets, it's happening on college campuses, in community spaces, and even in legal arenas across the country.
The government claims it's fighting anti-Semitism, framing its actions as necessary to combat hate speech and protect vulnerable communities. But critics argue it's silencing legitimate criticism of Israel, conflating dissent with discrimination in a way that stifles open dialogue.
This crackdown has a chilling effect on free speech. It really does. Students, activists, and even academics are finding themselves under scrutiny for expressing their views. This case highlights the intersection of civil liberties and foreign policy, where the lines between protecting national interests and suppressing dissent blur dangerously.
When the government prioritizes one over the other, it undermines both, creating a precedent that could erode the very freedoms it claims to defend.
The deportation of Mahmoud Khalil is a dangerous precedent, one that sends shockwaves through communities advocating for justice and human rights. It sends a message that criticizing US allies can have severe consequences, discouraging others from speaking out against policies they find unjust.
This case is a stark reminder that we must fight to protect our freedoms, ensuring that the right to dissent remains a cornerstone of democracy.